Welcome to Journalism 300. This is Bonnie Bucqueroux, and Journalism 300-730, the summer session, is indeed the course that is public affairs reporting. So first I wanted to introduce myself. I'm assuming that most of you have had me in Journalism 108 and you know me, but you know there are some transfer students potentially in the class, and I did want to introduce myself and maybe reintroduce myself to those who know me already. You know, I was a journalist for many years, and my big claim to fame is that I did win a National Magazine Award, but I have really become an online geek in the meanwhile. A citizen journalist devotee online. I have 3.2 million hits on YouTube. I have a number of online publications that I produce or assist in producing. I built my first website in 1996. I have a lot of firsts in the field. I was the first person to produce a training course for police, 1998. In the year 2000, I ran for Congress and had the first ever campaign blog. So I think you'll see that a lot of this course is going to encourage you to make the transition from what you learned in Journalism 200, which was basic reporting skills, into becoming a full-fledged reporter, including becoming a multimedia reporter. You're going to find out that it's very important. One of the requirements that you have for this class is that you need to be able to have a cell phone camera that takes not only video but also still images of a decent quality, and I'm really encouraging you to make sure that you get video and get pictures for each one of the stories that you do. We'll talk a little bit more about those individual stories. I also want to make sure that you have internet access wherever you are. You know, the big issue for this class is that you're going to be learning a lot about communities. You're going to be learning how they run, who has power, where the money goes, what's being done well, what's not being done well, what people are concerned about, how it's affecting their lives. I have friends in Lansing who are deeply affected by many of the decisions that the city of Lansing makes, and so they're intensely interested in finding out from reporters what's happening in the community that they need to know about. So that's the kind of reporting we're going to be doing this summer. And for those of you who say, well, but I'm not interested in that, I want to do fashion, or I want to do sports, or I want to do entertainment, those are great fields, and I hope that you pursue those, and pursuing your dream is important. But I will tell you that learning the skills to be able to do public affairs reporting means that you can report on just about anything. And you can report on it on the fly, quickly, efficiently, accurately. And that's what this class is designed to teach you how to do. It sort of takes you from being a rookie reporter to being somebody who can actually go out in the field and do the job. I'm going to take a second now and grab little Lemmy. I'll introduce him to you. That little whiny voice you heard was little Lemmy in the background. Lemmy, say hello to everybody in the class. Now you know if you hear that, that's what it is. It's little Lemmy crying. Let me put on my glasses so I make sure I know where it was I was and I can pick up and do this again. So let's get started first with talking about how this class works. Your first challenge, since this is a summer course, is that it will run all summer. It doesn't end until August 20th. But the first thing that you have to do is you have to find a beat area. Now this is going to be complicated for those of you who may be in more than one place this summer. If you are, get in touch with me right away so that we can discuss how we're going to deal with that. And the way to get in touch with me is through the D2L system. You must email me through D2L. If you email me outside that system, I may not see your email. It's important for us, both of us, to have a full record of our correspondence through the course itself. So please make sure to do that and only use D2L. So let's discuss a bit about what it is you should be looking for in a beat area. You can't cover New York City. You can't cover Chicago. You can't even cover Lansing if you're going to stay here, or East Lansing. You really have to pick a small community or a neighborhood within a large city that is manageable, where you can actually develop face-to-face personal relationships with people, and you can grasp what's really going on in that community. So one of our first challenges, and one of your first assignments, as you'll see it's due, I believe, June 1, is that you have to do 3 items for the community directory. That means getting a picture. It means getting some information. There's a template and a cheat sheet on what's required of the community directory. That's under that content tab on D2L. When you go into D2L, click on that content tab and you'll find out what's all of the cheat sheets for different kinds of stories there. So that's the first thing that you have to do, is go out in that beat, and by June 1 you have to get to know some people there. Identify 3 places in the community that should be included in the directory, kind of a directory, the kind of thing you'd go online and Yelp and you'd find out, this is what the restaurant is like in this community, and it's where it's located, what its hours are, who owns it, what kind of food they serve, is it affordable. That's if you're doing a business establishment. You can also do government offices. Take a look at that information. The community directory and the 7 required public affairs stories make up 40% of your overall grade. So you're going to want to be really careful to do well. If you miss 1 or 2 of those stories, it's really hard to pass the class. So make sure that you can devote the time to this. Part of the challenge is you'll need to do that during business hours because you have to reach people in government offices in many cases, or go to community meetings. And those are typically held during the week, and so you're going to have to be able to do that. So make sure your schedule will fit with that. You're going to have to produce 7 stories, 1 a week. Wow, it's going to be fast. And you do have a chance to revise up to 2 of those if you're unhappy with your grade. So make sure to turn in at least something so that when I average the 2 scores, you do better. You're going to take a look at the roster of stories. Make sure to check out that syllabus. Here's the roster of stories you can choose from. A municipal meeting story, school board story, breaking news, police, courts, budget, taxation, election story, localization, profile of a community leader, a story developed out of local issues. You have to figure out which one of these you'll do. 2 that are absolutely required are the municipal meeting story. You have to go to a city hall meeting, a township hall meeting. You have to go and do and watch the school board. Now, sometimes that's a challenge in the summer, so make sure you find out right away when the school board is meeting or what kind of school story you can do. The others you can kind of mix and match, and there's cheat sheets for all of those on on D2L as well. The other big issue is that you do have a final project. When you're out there doing those stories, typically what happens is you find one that is really interesting and you might want to dig into it a little bit more. Make sure you pick one that's visual, because this is the story that has to have really good multimedia. I've got to have video. I've got to see pictures. Maybe a slideshow, maybe a map, maybe a chart. Think of all the additional ways you can tell that story. The other thing you will be doing in this class is a job shadow, or if you've already done one in 200 and you're happy with it, you can do a book report. Check on the syllabus to find out what your options are for the book report. The other thing you'll have to do is, if you want to revise your stories, and you post your revised stories on our WordPress site. You're going to learn a little bit about WordPress this summer, including search engine optimization. How do you prepare your stories properly for the web, and also tag them in ways that make it possible for people to find them? That's going to be worth 10% of your grade. So recapping, the community directory and the 7 weekly stories are worth 40% of your grade. Your final project's worth 20%. Your quizzes are worth 20%. We're going to have some online quizzes on things like AP style. Job shadow and book report, 10%, and your revised stories and SEO is worth 10%. I don't know right now if there will be opportunities for extra credit. If you have some ideas, let me know. All the work has to be yours. You can't, part of the challenge is you're going to have to find some good online resources. So when you are citing statistics from a national study, make sure you tell me what the national study is, where you found it, and make it a hot link so that I can go check it. There should not be any issues with either excused absences or disability accommodations in the class, because we do have all summer for you to be able to catch up. But I want to make sure that if you have any of those concerns, that you get in touch with me. And I would encourage you to call me. 517-349-4752. I'm friendly. I want to talk. I want to help you do the best stories that you can do. This is your class to really learn what it is to be a journalist, to be able to get a really good handle on what it takes. And I want to make sure you do the best stories that you can in your beat areas. You find out something that maybe you've heard that there is going to be a new highway going through somewhere, and what is that going to do to the existing businesses? Or maybe there's a new apartment complex going up across from City Hall. Who's going to live there? How did that happen? What kind of tax breaks will they get? What do people think about it? Your goal is to find out what's happening in your communities and report back to everybody. But the place for you to start right now is hit the ground running this week. Read the syllabus, go out to your beat, grab some coffee at a coffee shop, start talking to people, go to City Hall, find out when their meetings are, talk to the clerks there. They'll tell you a lot about what people are really caring about these days. This is your chance to dig into your beat area And some of you are going to be in some exotic locations, I suspect. You know, you may even be out of the country. So let's talk first, and let's communicate this week about where you're going to pick your beat, and then we can talk some more. Thank you very much, and keep posted, because I'll post videos, I hope, every once in a while to keep us up to date. Thank you.